Was it unusual to be travelling to London during the war?
I think the answer is yes, and there was a bomb dropped. But the funny thing was, there was a bomb dropped, I think it was that day in Peterborough. So I said, we at least got an excuse. But I agree with you. I'd mentioned that there were only 2 people from Peterborough at the school, and there used to be a special train from Bushey and Oxley to Euston at the end of every term, because so many of the boys either were in the London area, but if not, wherever you were going in the country, unless you were literally going very close to the school, you needed to go to a London station. And then you had to change, well, in our case to King's Cross. Out of those 700 boys, there were only, I think, certainly weren't 9 or 10, I think there were only about half a dozen catching a northern train from King's Cross. So as you say, there weren't many from out of town. And I can see what you're implying. There's a bit of logic saying, why the hell? In fact, there was, I think it was the term before I got there, but there was an oil bomb dropped in the grounds, and it certainly wasn't I was there, of the school. It didn't do any real damage, but boys having got a reasonable sense of humour, there was another charity school very near us, the Caledonian School, and Hitler's mates dropped an incendiary bomb there and created havoc. And we as boys, so it shows Hitler's not such a bad chap. What the hell were the Scots doing down here? You know, schoolboy humour, just the job. I was there when a doodlebug went over. That was one of the things, and I do remember we were all standing and watching this aeroplane. It goes boom, boom, boom. We'd been told that would happen, and that if the engine stopped, then it dropped on you straight away. The staff were shouting, "Get down the subways." And I'm fairly sure that I'm right still, because we talked about it, that we weren't going to miss the excitement, were we? And fun enough, I don't know whether going down the subways was any good. If it dropped straight on you, I think you'd have had it anyway. So
you watched the Doodlebug?
Yeah. I don't pretend to remember exactly what it was like, but that was towards the end of the war, about 19... Because I was there in the middle of it, about 44, I think, somehow. I remember things that were different. One of the things that I first learned a little bit of business experience, we had food rationing, and I remember, because I liked eggs more than fruit, on an egg day I would have 2 or 3 eggs because I'd swap them for other people's oranges or apples. And then also some boys, we had the pocket money we got was regulated. I think it was 10 shillings a term. Doesn't sound much nowadays, so 50 pence for 13 weeks. But I found that very often some boys weren't going to use all their coupons. So I could buy some sweet coupons down at Bushey at the school and sell them at a profit when I got back to Peterborough.
You were in Whitehall on VE Day?
Yes, I was. Now that was really, as far as I'm concerned, it was sheer luck and unexpected. George Nicholson was another boy at the Masonic School, and we were told on VE Day in the senior school we could have the day off. It was only the day, so I couldn't possibly get back to Peterborough and back again. And my friend George said, "Would you like to come with me to see my mother in Southgate?" So I thought it was smashing. So we got to Southgate, and his mother is to take us in and give us a cup of tea, got us straight onto the tube train up to Whitehall. Although I only vaguely remember it, but I do remember, I don't think we actually saw Churchill or saw him properly, because the balcony would be overhead. We must have been fairly early there. But I can say that I think it is true, if you think of my age now, there won't be many, we were 13 then, there won't be many people who were that young then. So anybody that was, say, 20 then, there's got to be 96 by now. So I don't think there'll be many of us alive that were actually in Whitehall on VE Day.